From the highest treetops to the nearly invisible tracks on the forest floor, these 20 animals reveal the strength, strategy, and silence that govern the wild. Aerial predators, elusive felines, vigilant primates, and shadow-dwelling survivors show that in the Amazon, it's not the biggest that dominates, it's the most adaptable. Get ready to discover creatures that live between light and darkness, where every movement can be decisive. But before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our channel and leave your like. Now, let's get started. Number 1. The Jaguarundi, the predator that walks between two worlds. The top does not always belong to the biggest. Sometimes it belongs to the most efficient. Among low shadows, tall grass, forest edges, and areas almost invisible to the human eye, there exists a feline rarely noticed, yet always present. The Jaguarundi does not roar like a jaguar. It does not have striking spots like the Ocelot. It does not impose immediate fear. It simply appears and disappears. At first glance, it barely resembles a typical feline. Its body is elongated. Its legs are short, its tail long and balanced. In profile, it almost looks like a cross between a cat and an otter. Its coat may vary between two main tones, nearly uniform dark gray, burnt reddish brown. Interestingly, kittens from the same litter can display different colors. This variation is an advantage, adaptive camouflage for different environments. Unlike most neotropical felines, the Jaguarundi is primarily diurnal. It hunts under sunlight. While other predators rest, it moves, close to the ground, silent, calculated. Its diet is highly varied: rodents, small birds, lizards, amphibians. This dietary flexibility is one of its greatest weapons. It does not depend on a single food source. It adjusts. Perhaps its most remarkable trait is its ability to live in transitional areas: dense forests, savannas, secondary growth, forest edges, even near agricultural zones, as long as there is sufficient vegetation cover. While many animals disappear, when forests fragment, the Jaguarundi can persist. It moves between worlds, between wild and modified, between natural and human. It relies on strategy rather than brute force short attacks, quick movements, energy conserved. It avoids unnecessary confrontation, avoids direct competition with larger felines. It is intelligence applied to survival, though adaptable. It is not invulnerable. Roadkill, habitat loss, persecution due to confusion with domestic animals. Its discretion, its greatest defense, also makes it understudied. Much of what we know still comes from camera traps and rare observations. Why is it number 1? Because it represents something essential in nature: resilience. It is not the biggest, not the strongest, not the most famous, but it understands the changing world better than most. While others disappear when environments shift, it finds a way to continue: silent, discreet, persistent. And perhaps that is the true definition of modern apex, not the one that dominates by force, but the one that survives through intelligence. Number 2, the red brocket deer, the spirit that runs between shadows. In the Amazon, not every danger comes with a roar. Some come with silence. You may walk for hours through the forest without realizing you are being watched. The air is humid, leaves cover the ground like an uneven carpet, and each step produces a dry crack. But someone is there, still, motionless, watching your every movement. The red brocket deer is a master of invisibility. Unlike open field deer that live in large herds, it is solitary, compact, agile, extremely cautious. Its reddish-brown coat blends perfectly with the leaf-covered ground, fallen trunks, and fragmented shadows. If it does not move, you do not see it, and it knows that. Before running, it freezes. That is its first line of defense. While many animals panic, the red brocket relies on camouflage and patience. It can remain motionless for minutes that feel endless. Only when the threat comes too close does it bolt, and when it bolts, it is lightning. It may not be the fastest in a straight line, but in the forest, raw speed is not enough. It zigzags, dodges trunks with abrupt turns, disappears among vines and dense vegetation. Larger predators struggle to keep up. It knows every detail of the terrain, every route, every slope, every narrow passage. It feeds on leaves, shoots, fallen fruits, and flowers. As it travels across wide areas, it disperses seeds through its droppings, aiding forest regeneration. It also occupies a crucial place in the food chain. It is prey for major predators such as the jaguar and the puma. Without it, these predators would have fewer resources. Without these predators, the forest would lose balance. Everything is connected. Number 3. The black-bearded saki, sentinel of the lost heights. Dawn in the Amazon does not begin with light, it begins with sound. Before the sun pierces the mist hanging above the canopy, a deep call echoes through the forest. A resonant, almost vibrating tone that travels for kilometers between giant trees. It is not a roar, not a scream, it is a warning. The owner of that call is the black-bearded saki, and when it vocalizes, the forest listens. Its appearance commands respect. Thick, glossy black fur covers its body. A long, full tail balances each leap among high branches. Its rounded face carries an intense expression many describe as serious, almost stern. Its eyes are attentive, vigilant. It rarely touches the ground. It belongs to the forest's upper layer, where light still penetrates, but danger is constant. Its greatest predators live there, and there, it dominates. Groups may range from 10 to 30 individuals, moving as a coordinated unit, leaping between trees with millimetric precision. Nothing is random, every movement is strategic. Unlike many primates that depend on soft fruits, the black-bearded saki evolved differently. Its jaw is powerful, its teeth are adapted to crack extremely hard seeds. This makes it essential to the forest. It consumes seeds few others can open. Some are dispersed throughout its territory, aiding the regeneration of giant trees. Without it, certain plant species would struggle to spread. It is not merely a forest inhabitant, it is one of its silent gardeners. The group maintains constant contact through specific vocalizations. Short calls signal movement, deep tones warn of predators. If an aerial threat appears, such as the black hawk eagle, the group quickly ascends to even denser canopy areas. Number 4. The black hawk eagle, lord of the invisible canopy. There is a specific moment in the Amazon forest when silence becomes heavy. It is not the absence of sound, it is expectation. Monkeys stop vocalizing, smaller birds cease their calls, even the wind seems to slow. And then, from high above the canopy, a dark shape cuts through the green sky of the forest. The black hawk eagle is not as famous as the Harpy eagle. It does not carry the same notoriety. It does not appear as often in documentaries. But to those who live in the forest, it is respected and feared. With a wingspan that can exceed 1.5 meters, it is one of the largest birds of prey in South America. Its body is slender, elegant, almost aristocratic. Unlike the robust power of the Harpy eagle, it has a more elongated form, adapted for precise flight through dense trees. Its broad wings allow it to glide effortlessly between the treetops. It does not hunt in open fields, it hunts within the forest, and that requires extreme skill, specialized in arboreal prey, sloths, small monkeys, medium-sized birds. It may remain motionless on high branches for long minutes. Its gaze is calculating, cold, strategic. When it decides to strike, it dives in near total silence. No battle cry, only the sudden sound of leaves being pierced. The impact is swift, precise, and then it rises again into the heights, carrying its prey. Unlike other eagles, it is extremely discreet. It is difficult to see. Researchers spend years studying specific Amazonian regions without more than a few sightings. It prefers isolation. It builds nests in extremely tall trees, often invisible from the ground. There, it raises only one chick per reproductive cycle. Total investment, a strategy of quality over quantity. As a top arboreal predator, it regulates populations of medium-sized mammals. Without it, certain species could overpopulate and disrupt ecological balance. Yet it too suffers from habitat loss. Number 5. The Ocelot, the painted shadow of the Amazonian night. When night falls over the Amazon, the forest does not sleep, it changes. The heat of the day slowly fades. Humidity intensifies. Sounds once hidden begin to echo among the trees. Insects vibrate in the dark. Small mammals leave their shelters. The air feels denser, almost electric, and then something moves, silent, calculated, elegant. Between shadows and moonbeams filtered through the canopy emerges the hypnotic figure of the ocelot. It is not the largest feline in the Amazon, not the heaviest, nor the most feared, but perhaps one of the most perfect. Its body is a masterpiece of evolutionary engineering. Compact, flexible musculature ready for short bursts of speed. Fur marked by elongated rosettes and black spots that appear hand-painted. A unique pattern on every individual individual, like a living fingerprint. But what truly defines the ocelot is not only its appearance, it is its efficiency. A specialized nocturnal predator, its eyes capture minimal light, its hearing detects the faintest leaf crack, its whiskers act as tactile sensors, guiding it through dense vegetation, even in near total darkness. Camera traps have recorded rare glimpses of its nightly routine. It appears like a spotted phantom, crosses the frame with precision, and vanishes within seconds. It never remains exposed for long. Its territory may extend across several square kilometers. Males and females maintain overlapping areas but avoid direct confrontation. They mark trees with scratches and scent signals, communicating presence without fighting. And when it hunts, every movement is calculated. It prefers short ambushes. It lowers itself close to the ground, using natural shadows as cover. It waits for the exact moment when prey becomes distracted. One leap, a precise bite to the neck, silence again. Number 6. The black caiman, the silent titan of the great rivers. If there is a creature that represents the raw power of the Amazon's rivers, it is the colossal black caiman. It is the largest reptile in the Amazon. Males can exceed 5 meters in length. Its body is massive, its head broad and powerful. Yet despite its monumental size, it is rarely seen in action. It prefers to observe. It remains partially submerged, with only its eyes and nostrils visible. Its patience is legendary. Thermal cameras have recorded its nocturnal activity, slow, calculated movements, an almost imperceptible approach toward prey that ventures near the water. It feeds on large fish, aquatic birds, and occasionally mammals that enter the river. For decades, it was heavily hunted for its skin. This nearly led the species to population collapse in some regions. Conservation programs have allowed significant recovery, but human pressure still exists. The black caiman is not just a predator, it shapes the behavior of countless species that share the same aquatic environment. Where it is present, there is natural respect. It is the titan that remains motionless, the shadow that floats beneath the surface, the silent guardian of the great Amazonian rivers. Number 7. The bush dog, the forest's invisible hunter. In the humid silence of the Amazon, where light barely penetrates the canopy and the air is heavy with life, there exists a predator almost no one sees. And when they do, they doubt it. It does not roar like the jaguar. It does not glide like the serpent. It does not dive like the giant otter. It vanishes. We are talking about the enigmatic bush dog, small compared to other Amazonian predators, yet absolutely extraordinary in behavior and adaptation. The bush dog is one of the most rarely recorded mammals in the deep Amazon. For decades, it was considered almost legendary in some regions. Its body is compact with relatively short legs, reddish-brown fur, and a discreet tail. But its appearance is deceptive. It is a highly efficient cooperative hunter. Unlike most South American canids, the bush dog is strongly social. It lives in organized family groups with defined hierarchies. Communication occurs through high-pitched vocalizations and subtle body signals. Most impressive of all, they hunt as a team. Hidden cameras have captured extremely rare moments of coordinated pursuit. While one individual directs the prey, another cuts off its escape route. They are fast, silent, and persistent. Their diet includes large rodents, pacas, and even small deer. For an animal of relatively modest size, this demonstrates remarkable strategic capability. Perhaps its greatest adaptation is to water. The bush dog is an excellent swimmer. Its toes have partial webbing that facilitates aquatic movement. It crosses streams with ease, essential in a landscape fragmented by Amazonian rivers. This ability greatly expands its potential territory, and yet it remains almost invisible. Why? Because it prefers extremely preserved areas with low human presence. Forest fragmentation is one of its greatest threats. It depends on large, continuous forest corridors. If the forest breaks apart, it becomes isolated. Video records are so rare that each new sighting is treated as an important scientific event. Cameras often remain installed for months before capturing just a few seconds of its silent passage. It does not mark territory with display. It leaves no obvious tracks. It does not announce its existence. It simply crosses the forest like a living whisper. Its presence indicates ecological balance. Where there are bush dogs, there is sufficient prey and a healthy environment. It is proof that in the Amazon, the largest are not always the most extraordinary. Sometimes the rarest are the most fascinating. Number 8. the black-faced spider monkey, the invisible lord of the canopy. If you walked through the Amazon looking only at the ground, you would never notice the true spectacle happening above your head. At the top of the forest, where sunlight arrives first and wind circulates more freely, lives one of South America's most extraordinary primates, the black-faced spider monkey. Its body is pure adaptation to the air. Long arms, slender legs, a prehensile tail so strong it can support its entire body weight with absolute precision. It practically flies between the trees. Leaps spanning several meters are executed with millimetric calculation. Each branch is evaluated in fractions of a second. Cameras installed in the canopy have revealed rare scenes. Family groups moving like an aerial choreography, youngsters learning to calculate distances, adults using their tails as a fifth limb to harvest inaccessible fruits. But the spider monkey is not just an acrobat, it is an invisible architect of forest regeneration. Its diet is primarily frugivorous. By consuming fruits and traveling long distances, it disperses seeds across vast areas. Some plant species depend directly on it for propagation. It is selective. It prefers ripe, nutritious fruits, influencing which trees thrive. Its social structure is complex. Groups may temporarily split into smaller subgroups during the day, reuniting at dusk. Vocal communication echoes high above the forest, sounds many humans never hear simply because they never look up. Its survival depends on canopy continuity. It rarely descends to the ground. Forest fragmentation creates nearly insurmountable barriers to its movement. Without continuous arboreal corridors, it becomes isolated, and when the spider monkey disappears from an area, the ecological impact is silent, yet profound. It is the guardian of the heights, the gardener of the green sky. Number 9. The white-lipped peccary, the living storm that echoes through the forest. Long before you see them, you hear them. First, a faint snapping of branches, then leaves being crushed. Soon a collective sound, a mixture of grunts, heavy breathing, and synchronized steps. It is not a single animal, it is a living force. The white-lipped peccary is more than just an Amazonian wild pig. It is a collective entity, a moving organic mass, a terrestrial storm crossing the forest as if it were part of the biome's own breath. Unlike many species that live in small family groups, white-lipped peccaries form herds that can exceed 100 individuals. And in rare cases, even larger numbers have been recorded by camera traps and scientific drones. Imagine that, more than 100 robust muscular bodies moving in synchrony through dense forest. They do not walk silently like predators, they announce their presence, and that is strategic. Their strength is not in individual size, but in unity. When threatened, they form a living barrier, protecting the young in the center. Their teeth, though not enormous, are capable of causing serious damage when dozens charge together. Cameras have recorded rare confrontations between peccary herds and predators such as the jaguar. What is observed is not panic, but defensive organization. Yet what makes this species truly gigantic in importance is not its defense. It is its ecological impact. As they move, they overturn soil in search of roots, seeds, and small invertebrates. This behavior aerates the earth, influences plant germination, and alters forest microhabitats. They are unintentional ecological engineers. Without them, the dynamics of Amazonian soil would change. Even more fascinating are their natural migratory routes. Herds travel kilometers across defined territories, creating trails used by other species. They shape the forest's flow, but they face real threats. Illegal hunting and habitat fragmentation deeply affect their populations. Because they depend on social structure, the loss of members can destabilize entire groups. When a herd of white-lipped peccaries crosses the forest, it is not just animals passing by, it is the forest itself in motion. Number 10. The Brazilian tapir, the forest's silent architect. At first glance, it may seem like just a large herbivorous mammal walking slowly through the forest. But the South American tapir is one of the most important species for the ecological balance of the Amazon. Known as the gardener of the forest, the tapir plays a crucial role in seed dispersal. It can weigh more than 250 kilograms. Its robust body and small flexible snout allow it to reach a wide variety of leaves and fruits. It feeds on dozens of plant species, species. After consuming fruits, it travels long distances before eliminating the seeds, helping regenerate forest areas. Night cameras often capture its silhouette slowly moving under infrared light. It is predominantly nocturnal and extremely cautious. Despite its size, the tapir is surprisingly agile in water. It can swim easily and use rivers as travel routes. Its main defense mechanism is discretion. It avoids direct confrontation whenever possible. Unfortunately, it is vulnerable to illegal hunting and habitat fragmentation. Because it has a low reproductive rate, population recovery can be slow. Without the tapir, many tree species would lose one of their main seed dispersers. It does not hunt. It does not dominate. It does not inspire fear, but it quietly sustains the forest's future. Number 11. The jaguar, the true emperor of the Amazon. If there is an animal that symbolizes the raw and silent power of the Amazon rainforest, it is the majestic jaguar. It is not only the largest feline in the Americas, it is the apex of the food chain across much of the Amazon. Its body is compact and extremely muscular, with jaws considered the most powerful among all big cats relative to body size. Its bite can pierce turtle shells and prey skulls with astonishing efficiency. But what makes the jaguar truly extraordinary goes beyond physical strength. It is its strategic intelligence. It does not chase prey over long distances like other felines. It prefers short, explosive, calculated ambushes. It carefully chooses the attack location. It analyzes wind, vegetation cover, distance, and the prey's vulnerability. Hidden forest cameras have captured rare moments. A jaguar crossing wide rivers with absolute ease, climbing steep banks, and disappearing among trees as if it had never been there. It is an excellent swimmer. Unlike many felines, water is not an obstacle. It is part of its territory. Its diet is highly varied: capybaras, peccaries, deer, caimans, and even large snakes. This demonstrates its ecological adaptability. Despite its reputation as a feared predator, attacks on humans are extremely rare and generally linked to specific situations of threat or scarcity. The jaguar's greatest challenge today is not nature, it is habitat loss. It requires vast territories to survive. Where forests are fragmented, its survival becomes more difficult. Seeing a jaguar captured by camera in the deep Amazon is witnessing the ultimate symbol of a living forest. It does not roar constantly, it observes, it calculates, it reigns. Number 12. The Arapaima, the colossus of freshwaters. In the calm lakes and rivers of the Amazon swims a true aquatic titan, the gigantic Arapaima. It is one of the largest freshwater fish in the world, capable of exceeding 2.5 meters in length and weighing more than 200 kilograms. Its body is robust, covered with large resistant scales that function as natural armor. Its coloration blends dark tones with reddish highlights near the tail. But perhaps its most extraordinary feature is its breathing. The Arapaima possesses a highly vascularized swim bladder that functions like a primitive lung. It must regularly surface to breathe atmospheric air. This behavior makes it vulnerable to fishing, yet it has also allowed impressive video records capturing the exact moment it rises to breathe. It is an opportunistic predator, feeding on smaller fish and other aquatic organisms. Its presence strongly influences the population dynamics of lakes. For decades, it suffered from overfishing. However, sustainable management projects in some Amazon regions have shown that with proper control, its population can recover. Watching an Arapaima slowly emerge from the water at sunset is like witnessing a living fragment of prehistory. It carries in its body the evolutionary memory of millions of years, a true silent giant of Amazonian waters. Number 13. The Harpy eagle, the winged power of the forest. At the top of the tallest trees in the Amazon, where the canopy forms an almost impenetrable ceiling, reigns one of the most powerful birds of prey on the planet, the magnificent Harpy eagle. Its size is astonishing. Females, larger than males, can reach nearly 1 meter in height. Their talons are comparable in size to those of a small bear, designed to seize prey with devastating force. It primarily hunts arboreal mammals such as sloths and monkeys. Unlike birds that dive at extreme speeds, the Harpy eagle prefers calculated attacks launched from strategic perches. Its flight is powerful, yet silent. Broad wings allow precise maneuvers between dense trunks and branches. Capturing a Harpy eagle in action is extremely rare. Its nests sit atop gigantic trees, often more than 30 meters above the ground. Pairs may use the same nest for years. It lays few eggs. Usually only one chick survives per breeding cycle. Parental care is prolonged. The young young can remain dependent on their parents for over a year. The Harpy eagle is an indicator of forest integrity. It requires vast preserved areas to survive. Where it disappears, it usually signals that deforestation has already disrupted the balance. When its wings slice through the air above the canopy, it feels as though the forest itself has created a guardian. Number 14. The giant otter, the social giant of the rivers. In contrast to the anaconda's solitude, there is a predator that lives in groups, communicates intensely, and transforms entire rivers into family territory. The impressive giant otter is the largest otter in the world, and one of the Amazon's most fascinating mammals. It can reach nearly 2 meters in length, including the tail. Its body is elongated and hydrodynamic, perfectly adapted to aquatic life. But unlike many silent predators, the giant otter is vocal, very vocal. Family groups can produce a surprising variety of sounds: whistles, growls, sharp screams, and specific calls indicating alert, location, or social interaction. Each member recognizes the voices of the others. These groups can range from 3 to more than 10 individuals, usually led by a dominant pair. They defend extensive territories along rivers and lakes. Cameras installed on isolated riverbanks have captured rare moments: cubs playing, adults fishing cooperatively, alert interactions in the face of threats. The giant otter is an agile hunter. Its diet is mainly fish, but can include crustaceans and small aquatic vertebrates. It dives with precision and surfaces with prey between its sharp teeth. During the 20th century, it was heavily hunted for its fur, drastically reducing its populations. Today, although legally protected, it still faces threats such as habitat destruction and river pollution. Its presence indicates environmental quality. Where there are giant otters, there is usually an abundance of fish and relatively clean water. They are living sentinels of the health of Amazonian rivers. Watching a family of giant otters at dusk is witnessing intelligence, cooperation, and adaptation in perfect harmony. Number 15. The green anaconda, the silent force of Amazonian waters. In the murky and seemingly calm waters of the Amazon basin, there is a presence that is almost never seen until it is too late. A massive, muscular body perfectly adapted to the aquatic environment, a creature that does not need extreme speed or venom to dominate. We are talking about the colossal green anaconda. It is often called one of the largest snakes on the planet by mass. Although it is not the longest compared to other snakes worldwide, its weight and thickness are absolutely impressive. Adult females can easily exceed 5 meters in length, and historical reports suggest even larger individuals, though such extreme cases are rarely scientifically confirmed. What makes the anaconda truly extraordinary is not just its size, it is its strategy. It does not chase, it waits. Camouflaged among aquatic vegetation, with only its eyes and nostrils above the surface, it can remain motionless for hours. Fish pass by, birds land, mammals approach to drink, and then, in a fraction of a second, the environment explodes into movement. The anaconda has no venom. Its method is constriction, a lethal embrace that does not crush bones but interrupts blood circulation. It is a fast and efficient process refined over millions of years of evolution. Video records are rare because it prefers isolated locations, floodplain lakes, inaccessible streams, and flooded areas with minimal human presence. Many of the best recordings have come from drones and underwater cameras installed by researchers. It can remain submerged for long periods, moving with surprising smoothness for an animal of such immense proportions. Its metabolism allows long intervals between meals. After capturing large prey, it may go weeks without feeding again. Despite exaggerated fame and popular stories, attacks on humans are extremely rare. The anaconda does not see people as natural prey. It prefers capybaras, aquatic birds, and other animals that are part of its natural feeding cycle. More than a predator, it is an essential part of the ecological balance of flooded environments. Without it, certain populations could grow uncontrollably. It is the invisible force that maintains the silent rhythm of Amazonian waters. Number 16. The puma, the predator that leaves no trace. While the jaguar dominates the popular imagination, another great predator silently roams the Amazon. The puma, more slender, uniform coat ranging from brown to beige, adaptable body. It is one of the most widely distributed mammal species in the Americas. Yet deep within the Amazon, sightings are still considered rare. The puma is incredibly adaptable. It can live in dense forests, mountainous areas, open regions, and even ecological transition zones. Its behavior is extremely reserved. Unlike other large felines, it avoids direct confrontation whenever possible. It is a patient hunter. Its leaps can cover great distances. Its endurance allows prolonged pursuits. Its strength is enough to bring down sizable prey. Camera traps show a curious pattern. It rarely returns repeatedly to the same spot. It seems to instinctively understand where it might be observed. Its presence is an important ecological indicator. Where there are pumas, there is sufficient prey. Where there is sufficient prey, the ecosystem still maintains a certain balance. It does not roar like the jaguar. It does not seek confrontation. It does not display striking colors. It simply appears and disappears, like a shadow that never sleeps. Number 17. The Guianan, cock of the rock, the forest's secret spectacle. Imagine walking for hours along a humid trail, heavy air pressing against you, distant insects humming. Suddenly, within the green twilight, an explosion of intense orange appears. So vibrant it seems artificial. It is the Guianan cock of the rock. This bird is one of the most visually striking in the Amazon. The male displays vibrant orange plumage and a semicircular crest that partially covers its beak, giving it an almost prehistoric appearance. But the real spectacle happens during breeding season. Males gather in specific clearings known as leks. There, they compete for female attention through choreographed movements, short hops, intense vocalizations, and nearly synchronized displays. Every gesture is calculated. Hidden cameras have revealed that females observe carefully before choosing a partner. Only a few males succeed in mating. Most participate in the spectacle without reproductive success. Recording this behavior requires weeks of preparation. Human presence can completely interrupt the ritual. That is why the best footage comes from remotely installed equipment. The cock of the rock is frugivorous, feeding on various fruits and helping disperse seeds. It is not just a visual spectacle. It is a fundamental ecological agent in forest regeneration. Amid the dominant green of the Amazon, it is like a living flame dancing in the shadows. Number 18. The Candiru. Between science and myth, few Amazonian animals provoke as much curiosity and exaggeration as the Candiru small, almost translucent, measuring only a few centimeters. At first glance, it seems insignificant, but its way of life is extraordinary. The Candiru is a specialized parasitic fish. It inhabits the great Amazonian river systems, especially in murky waters where visibility is practically non-existent. Its thin, elongated body is perfectly adapted for infiltration. It detects chemical currents released by other fish, especially those associated with respiration through the gills. Upon locating a host, it swims quickly and positions itself within the gill cavities, where it temporarily attaches to feed on blood. It is a fast process, precise, evolutionarily refined. Popular stories have turned the Candiru into a microscopic monster. However, scientific studies show that its interaction with humans is extremely rare and often misunderstood. Capturing the Candiru on video is immensely challenging. It lives in dark environments, moves rapidly, and its small size makes clear imaging difficult. Many of the most detailed records come from controlled scientific aquariums. What makes the Candiru fascinating is not the fear surrounding it, but its biological specialization. It is an extreme example of parasitic adaptation in a freshwater environment. In an ecosystem as vast as the Amazon, even nearly invisible creatures play complex roles. It proves that size has never been synonymous with ecological impact. Number 19. The dwarf caiman, the forgotten guardian of the streams. When people talk about Amazon predators, the giants almost always steal the spotlight, but far from the great rivers, hidden in narrow streams and flooded stretches where light barely touches the water, lives a creature rarely seen and even less understood, the Cuvier's dwarf caiman. Its name may suggest fragility, but that is a mistake. It is a highly specialized survivor. Unlike other Amazonian crocodilians, it prefers more enclosed environments, with shallow, cool waters often shaded by dense vegetation. These are places where silence is nearly absolute, broken only by the sound of insects and the gentle movement of the current. The rarity of video records is due precisely to its extremely discreet behavior. It is nocturnal, patient, wary, sensitive to even the slightest vibrations in the water. Monitoring cameras have been installed for months without success, until, on a single dawn, it slowly appeared in the frame, eyes reflecting infrared light like two glowing points in the darkness. Its bony armor is more rigid than that of many many other caimans. The osteoderms beneath its skin form almost medieval protection, especially along its back and neck. This makes it less agile on land than larger species, but incredibly resilient. Its diet is varied: crustaceans, small fish, amphibians, and even small mammals that approach the water. It naturally controls smaller aquatic populations, maintaining the ecological balance of these isolated microhabitats. Interestingly, it tolerates cooler waters than other Amazonian caimans, allowing it to occupy niches where its larger relatives do not compete as often. Perhaps its most fascinating trait is its ability to remain invisible. In a forest where everything seems gigantic, the dwarf caiman has mastered the art of not being seen. It doesn't need to be the largest to be essential. Number 20. The black jaguar, the forest's rare phenomenon. Among the dense shadows of the Amazon, where sunlight barely pierces the tangled canopy of branches and leaves, there exists a living legend few have had the privilege to see. It is not merely a color variation, it is a silent specter, a presence that moves like the night itself. We are talking about the rare melanistic jaguar, popularly known as the black jaguar. Contrary to what many believe, it is not a different species. It is the same jaguar, the largest feline in the Americas, but with a genetic mutation called melanism, which gives its coat an extremely dark coloration. Yet under the right light, its rosettes are still there, visible like ghostly markings beneath the deep black. Video records are extremely rare. Most known images come from camera traps installed by researchers in remote areas of the Brazilian and Peruvian Amazon. In some cases, it took years for a single image to be captured. What makes this creature even more fascinating is its behavior. The dark coloration may offer an advantage during nighttime hunts, making it nearly invisible in the dense forest. Its walk is calculated, every step is silent, every muscle works in perfect coordination. Unlike the exaggerated image created by movies, the jaguar is not a constant attack machine. It is strategic, observant, intelligent. It can remain motionless for hours, simply waiting for the perfect moment. Researchers believe melanism may represent an evolutionary advantage in dense forest environments. However, it may also simply be a rare genetic trait that persists within certain isolated populations. Seeing a black jaguar in the wild is witnessing one of the most extraordinary events in South American wildlife. It is like watching the forest itself grow eyes. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you enjoyed our content, subscribe to our channel and leave a like. Also, check out other interesting videos appearing on your screen right now. And I'll see you in the next video. See you next time.